What's a starseed? A starseed is a being that has signed up for the great call, has come from a higher dimensional, more civilized, more advanced race, and has chosen to, as part of a spiritual contract after death, has chosen to come to planet Earth.
Oh, so these starseeds are not sovereign citizens. They actually sign contracts. Wow, tell me more.
A number of these starseeds are coming from ninth and sixth dimensional planets and realities and are having to scale down.
Oh dear Anthony Bradley, I think you need to come out of the 6th and 9th dimensional rabbit holes, my chap.
They're having to scale down. Some starseeds have to spend a life in the lower 4th dimension first before they enter planet Earth, because it's that toxic, it's that dangerous, that they need to be trained up in the lower dark arts.
So please, let me get this straight, Anthony Bradley. They go through this 6th and 9th dimension, and then a 4th dimension, sign contracts to be born on Earth, where it takes a year to say their first words, 18 months to take their first steps, and 18 years before they become an independent adult. None of this makes sense, mate. You've got my mind baffled. Carry on.
And some of these starseeds know where they've come from. They know the planet. There are 3 types of starseed that you need to understand. 3 basic types of starseed. Number 1 is the empath, healer, rebel, so to speak. And those born from late 60s, mainly 70s and early 80s, have come to do dirty work. The hardened warriors.
Oh dear Anthony Bradley, I don't think you've thought this one through, have you? The term empath comes from empathy, which is the ability to understand an experience of his feelings outside of your own perspective.
These people can then make way for the crystal kids.
Anthony Bradley, you've got me confused again. These empath healer rebels were doing dirty work a minute ago, and now they're clearing the path for this new thing, crystal children. What are these? I'm so confused.
So if these starseeds have had children themselves, you will notice that the children that you've had are even more sensitive than you, but mostly less able to deal with the shit that you've done, but have got higher abilities than you.
Anthony Bradley, the children of today are exposed to a lot more than the children that grew up in the 70s, 80s, or even the 90s. When kids' TV was after school from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Yes, kids are more sensitive today, but they are exposed 24/7 to a world of information, most of which is complete nonsense preached on social media by idiots like you. As to higher abilities, try asking a teenager to ring their friends on a rotary dial phone.
And our job has been to purify it through our life to make room for these kids, for them to grow up and further impact planet Earth. The 3 types are the empath, healer, rebel. That's number 1. That's easy to understand.
The empath healer rebels, they do dirty work to clear the path for the crystal kids that have higher abilities but are spoiled, entitled brats with emotional issues sent to save the world, I think.
Number 2 is a geomagnetic worker. There are starseeds that are sent via spiritual contracts. It may have been they may have moved around, and through their parents' destiny, they are taken and live in certain parts of different parts of communities where there is a lot of loose and problematic built-up satanic energy.
Oh dear, Mr. Bradley, you are firmly stuck down the conspiracy theorist rabbit hole. Satan doesn't exist, and if you did the slightest bit of real research, you would find out that those who call themselves Satanists don't actually believe in Satan. They are atheists. They have no belief.
The specialised ones get sent to a variety of locations and will experience all kinds of heaviness and problems that have to be taken home and then processed.
So let me get this straight. The specialised ones experience heaviness and problems. But that specialised, they need to take it home to process things. How specialised are they?
This is particular, I mean, in the northwest of England, it's very important, Scotland, there are ley lines, there are satanic infrastructures that are dotted around. Wherever you see one of them obelisks, they're all over England.
Anthony Bradley, you really need to get out of the rabbit hole. The oldest obelisks in history first appeared around 2300 BCE and were erected for the sun god Ra. Now these so-called Satanists don't believe in anything, so why would they pick something that was first symbolised for a god?
There's a big one in Blackpool, sometimes double up as memorials for those people who sacrificed their lives in World War I and World War II, which was all fully organised and were paid sacrificial events.
Anthony Bradley, don't even go there. Those obelisks are erected as funeral monuments to remember those who died and lost their lives fighting for the freedoms we have today. So you can sit on TikTok and spout crap.
So, we've covered two. The last one is, well, if I say it, some people will and won't understand it, but there are human starseeds that are being born, and have been being born, especially over the last 20 years, that have special needs.
Anthony Bradley, this is a contradiction on your first statement, where you said starseeds had children that were crystal kids. What's going on?
They are born in problematic bodies with problematic DNA. The classic example of these starseeds are autistic people.
Anthony Bradley, autism is a wide spectrum which don't show any physical signs. For you to even imply that autistic people have problematic bodies shows how ignorant and misguided you actually are.
Now, we know there's been an agenda to further contaminate sensitives and empaths and starseeds via the program, which can make these tremendously brave and loving people even worse.
And this is where idiots like you go from being stupid to being dangerous.
But autistic people and autistic children are often born into families where there is a prevalence of workaholism and a complete unwillingness to change.
Anthony Bradley, where are you getting your information from?
The autistic child, or the child with special needs, we're not just talking about autism here, we're talking about a variety of psychological, emotional and physical genetic mutations. But I'll tell you one thing about the autistic kids, they're not going to conform, they're not going to work.
Anthony Bradley, you're really making my head hurt now.
The autistic person's in charge. And that family will have to become more devotional and more loving to embody the Christ consciousness energies. Because these children often aren't able to get involved in competitive pursuits. They're not able to become flying academics.
Anthony Bradley, you are so misinformed, it is unreal. There are plenty of people on various levels of the autistic spectrum that are high achievers.
They're not able to become fantastic sports stars.
Anthony Bradley, to say that autistic people can't be good or even great at sports is just plain wrong. Famous footballer Lionel Messi is on the autistic spectrum. And then we have Super Sam, the autistic triathlete, Sam Holness, who completed the World Ironman Championships. I think you're just full of it, mate.
Listen, we all want our children to be good at sport. We all want our children to be athletic. We all want our children to fly high at school. But the fact is that schools and the majority of the occupations out there aren't worth a
Anthony Bradley, it's quite evident the education system has failed you. I really think you need to lay off the ley lines and the Gaia websites, mate.
These people have volunteered to step into this reality with higher dimensional faculties, and when they arrive, they can't make any sense of it. They can't communicate. They can't facilitate. They are here with a very, very painful job. The very, very special, unique people. The sacrifices that they've made. So, those are your 3 starseeds. And some starseeds, some highly specialised starseeds, may have abilities in 1 and 2. There are some starseeds that are highly empathic and whatnot, but just can't be around people. So they'll be sent and will live in particular locations to deal with stuff. There you go.
Anthony Bradley, you're absolutely full of it, mate. The term starseed was first coined by the New Age movement and was taken from the 1976 book God of Aquarius, that argues that certain people originated as extraterrestrials and arrived through birth on Earth. You can find this book, God of Aquarius, in the fiction section of your local library, because just like Anthony Bradley's TikTok, it's all made up